All right, gang, it's time. Yankees, Astros, ALCS. We are finally here. Last night they won Game 5 to clinch in home in the Bronx. Now they're in Houston. And my apologies for not getting the video out right away or going live right away. There were some issues with YouTube last night, if you haven't noticed. So even some other content creators are still having issues uploading videos. Basically uploads and then keeps you at processing and doesn't go any further. But it is what it is, so hopefully we'll get this. And I want to give you my preview of the ALCS, and I'll give you my prediction, too, of who's going to win and how many games. Okay? And obviously, when the roster and lineup come out, I'll probably put them together in one video, and then we'll go live tonight towards the end of the game as well to hopefully celebrate a Yankees win, even against Justin Verlander. So be sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't, okay? And hit the notification bell if you don't want to miss these things, okay? I thank you for both. Now, let's preview this stuff, okay? Obviously, the Yankees... One of the things that we talked about against the Guardians, they had to out-Guardian the Guardians, right? They had to figure out a way to beat them at their own game and utilize some of their own weapons, which namely power and good pitching and whatever else. Because they lined up pretty well with the Guardians, who are a sneaky good team, and I think they're not going to go away anytime soon. They're not going to go away anytime soon. So, Fuzzy, if you're ever around, you see this, I'd like to have you on one day so we can talk about our Yankees and the Indians. Or the Guardians, my apologies. So, I think it'll be a fun conversation, man. And, we'll figure that one out later. But I had a discussion this morning with Derek from NYY Recaps, and we had a great discussion about previewing the ALCS, and I think some good points were made. And this is going to be a very fun series. Now, there's 2 games in Houston, 3 in New York, and 2 in Houston. That's how it's lining up. Okay? It's Justin Verlander tonight versus Jamison Tyone on the mound. Okay, and I kind of like how the aces of their team are not lining up with the aces of ours. So, which means if our guys happen to stay on course with their aces and our aces show up, Yankees have an advantage. Okay, it's Tyone versus Verlander today. I think it's Framber Valdez tomorrow against Luis Severino, and then you have Cole for Game 3, Cortez for Game 4 at home, and then probably Tyone again for Game 5. But you never know. I expect to see a little bit more Domingo Germán, a little bit more weaponry in the bullpen. And now that the roster is going to most likely change, because they can change every round, I think the makeup of the Yankees will look a little bit different. And they have to, because this is a different beast they're facing. Okay, the Astros are a different beast. They're a deeper and just a stronger team than the Guardians, okay? And not to take anything away from the Guardians. They played us extremely hard, extremely well, and they were just as deserving as the Yankees are, okay? But now the Astros, I mean, you have that 4-headed monster in the freaking lineup. Altuve, Yordan Alvarez, Alex Bregman, Kyle Tucker. I mean, that's not to take anything away from anybody else. That team is ridiculous. That lineup is ridiculous. That pitching is ridiculous. That bullpen, it's all ridiculous. But with that said, even though Jose Altuve was 0 for 14 in the ALDS against Seattle, that means nothing. He plays the Yankees hard and he plays the Yankees well. So I expect him to show up. Okay? So we have to figure out a way to neutralize these guys. I don't care if you have to walk Yordan Alvarez half the time. They do it then. Just to get that guy from hurting us. He killed the Mariners. And the Mariners pretty much stayed on par with the Astros. They were beatable in a couple games, but Yordan Alvarez killed him in the bullpen, killed Robbie Ray, he killed the other guy. And, with Jeremy Pena's home run in the 18th inning, they just figured out a way all different types to win all the different types of games. And the Yankees are going to have to do that. They're going to have to figure out how to out Astros the Astros. That's going to be very, very hard. So, but in terms of the roster, I think Oswald Peraza needs to be on it for some versatility reasons. Now that Aaron Hicks is off for the rest of the season, he's done with the knee injury from yesterday, I think Peraza should get that spot. And I do think they need to figure out a way to get Ron Marinaccio on here, too, as an additional weapon to the bullpen. The bullpen is a 3-headed monster, too. It might look like a tripod, but Clay Holmes, Johnny Loizaga, and and Wandy Peralta. Yo. All right? Clay Holmes is back to early season Clay Holmes, just where we needed him. Come at the perfect time. We're losing guys like E. Frost and King. So, yeah. And, what do you call it? To me, Wandy Peralta is the Nestor Cortez of the bullpen. Crafty lefty who's absolutely fearless. And Jonathan Loizaga reminds me of 1995 Mariano Rivera, where they used him in the 7th and 8th innings, and he just came into an inning or two of dominant ball before he handed it over to John Wetland. He reminds me of 95 Rivera. So this, to me, I feel good about that 3-headed monster. But if we add a Marinaccio in there, I think that'll be a good thing. Pair him with some of the other guys like Licky and a couple of the other arms. This bullpen looks prime and ready to go. And they're going to need all hands on deck, including Domingo Germán in long relief, Clark Schmidt if he makes his team roster as well. They're going to need everybody against this Astros team, who is relentless in every part of the game. So we'll see what the roster looks like. I think they should figure out a way to get Tim LeCastro on here as well for some defensive speed and versatility. I think they're going to need speed and athleticism. Oswald Peraza, I think, needs to be on here. Personally, I would move IKF to third base to be a starter and put Peraza at shortstop, and then have Donaldson come off the bench for defensive reasons and later on in the game. I feel like sometimes they wait for the big hit from Donaldson, which doesn't come very often, and I think IKF can be used a little bit more effectively because he gets on base more, he runs the bases better, and he's just as elite defensively at third base when he's not playing out of position as Donaldson is. So I think we get that and then rely on guys like Donaldson or potentially Matt Carpenter for potential delivering a big hit later on in the game, which I think they'll probably still use. I think Carpenter might get a little bit more time, but he's going to be rusty, which is why I hesitate a little bit to add Andrew Benintendi on here. I wouldn't start him over anybody. I mean, Oswaldo Cabrera tends to hit better when he plays the outfield, so he's my left fielder. And then Bader's in center, and then Judge is in right. And, there's been talking about playing Giancarlo Stanton in the outfield, but look, he's hitting home runs and doing these things without playing the outfield. So I'm keeping him to DH. I'm not clogging up that area. So, and I keep Carpenter there as well. So, and I think that to me makes a little bit more sense in terms of an early season and a late season attack against the Astros. But you let me know what you think, guys and gals. I want to know what you think. Who should be on the roster? Who do you think will be off? We know Hicks is off because he's done. The injury's confirmed already. So it's the other pieces that I think are going to be really interesting. But again, this is not the Cleveland Guardians, and that's not take anything away from the Guardians. They had a fantastic season and played us hard. But the Astros are a different monster, and the Yankees need to take a different approach. So, and you got Verlander. And like I said, I'm glad our aces are not lining up with their aces. It puts them in, I think, the Yankees in an advantage. And to me, my shove-off guy is Garrett Cole. To me, I think he's a bulldog mode. He's like a great white shark. Okay, and these Astros are chum in the water, and I think he needs to go out there and just go and attack. You saw what he did to the Guardians twice. Shoved. Ace mode. And we need to see that again. And I think he's going to show up even bigger against the Astros, which would be huge, as well as the other guys, too. I think Verlander and Taillon will be a closer game than folks think, but the Yankees have to jump on these guys early. And their bullpen needs to be reliable, and their defense needs to be on point. So, again, you cannot fall asleep in any area against the Houston Astros. You just can't. You can't do it. So that, to me, is how it's going to line up. And, again, I think the Yankees will split in Houston. Houston took both games against the Seattle Mariners, and the Seattle Mariners were kind of dead by that point. They had no way to win that one, going back to Seattle, even if so. I think the Yankees split, okay? And then I think the Yankees go back to the Bronx and win 2 out of 3, putting them up 3-2. And then I think the Yankees are going to come back to Houston and take it in 6. So it's Yankees in 6. As much as I would love them to go in 5, which that would be a much better thing to win it at home, I think they're going to beat them in Houston, in their own place. And again, it's time. It's payback time. Payback time to deliver on these guys. So my prediction is Yankees in 6. Give me your predictions. Okay, the Phillies are already up 1-0 on the Padres too in the NLCS, and so I can't wait to recap other stuff as well, and we'll hopefully be able to celebrate a Yankee series win too. But we'll go live later on towards the end of the game. Hopefully celebrate a win tonight against Justin Verlander. You'll get the roster and the lineup later, probably in the same video. That way you're not inundated with videos from me. So I'll wait for them to both come out before I put that out. But I wanted to do this little preview for you. Let me know what you think. Okay, and by the way, I gotta give a special shout out, okay, to Coffee Cat, okay, with a K, and I have one other guy here. 1 second, I'm gonna put the sunglasses up. Coffee Cat and Brewfair CT, Brewfair Connecticut, first 2 members of the 161 Mafia joined memberships, so they'll be joining me on live streams. I'm doing once a month live streams with members. And we can talk about all things Yankees. You're on video with me. You give me your insights. You have a bigger voice. So welcome those 2 guys. I appreciate you joining, and I hope to see a bunch more over time as well. We'll have some bigger live streams, but again, that'll be a once a month live stream for you guys and gals, so we can do this stuff together. But let me know what you think about the preview, roster, lineup, Let's talk Yankees. Let's go, Yankees.